Riding a wild horse through the tall green pines, my loyal dog beside me in the morning shine. Underneath the God's light through the forest span, living free and easy like only country folks can. Ride with me through the forest trail, feel the wind like a sailor's sail. Free as my wildest dreams could be, let's find our happiness, you and me.
Hello friends, and good day from New Zealand. This is part 3 of my wild horse trail ride. If you missed parts 1 and 2, I'll leave links in the description. In my last video, I promised to tell you how a California girl like me ended up in New Zealand. And I'm also going to tell you how Manny, my wild horse, reads my mind. So hold on tight. Here we go. I'll start with Manny. I am happy to say that a very recent study out of China has confirmed that when people and dogs make eye contact, they have a neural connection that can be recorded by EEG machines. At last, there's scientific proof of mind-to-mind connection between species. I discovered this very quickly, that I could have mind-to-mind connection with my horse. One day, Manny and I were out trail riding, and we stopped at the top of a hill looking over the valley below. Now, in my mind, I mapped out a shortcut that meant breaking away from the main trail and going bushwhacking through tall scrub. As a test, I dropped the reins and I let Manny choose whether to stay on the main trail or make the sharp turn and go through the scrubby meadow. To my absolute surprise, Manny followed the exact path I had mapped out in my mind. This proved to me that he could see the pictures I made in my mind. I suspected that because at horse shows, I would memorize a pattern and he would know it. He just won loads of ribbons. He could read my mind. Now, my second tale is a little bit weird. I was living in California, 20 years old, and I had just got the best job of my young life working at a JCPenney mail order center. My boss was going to give me a manager's position and a pay rise. Then a friend offered me a free ticket to go on holiday to New Zealand for a few weeks. Now, I really didn't have any yearning to travel, and I didn't know anything about New Zealand, except that California skiers went there on their off-season. But when I mentioned the offer to my boss, she was furious. She threatened to fire me if I took a 2-week holiday in New Zealand. I thought that was a bit unfair. Anyways, that night, I couldn't sleep. I had to make up my mind between tossing in my good job or passing up this trip to New Zealand. I ended up going to an all-night Denny's restaurant, and I was sitting there alone after midnight with my little paper of pros and cons, trying to make up my mind. In walked 2 beautiful, tall, blonde people. They seemed too perfect to be real. A man and a woman. And they walked into that restaurant, which was deserted at that time, and chose to sit at a table right next to me. I tried not to stare at them, but I was sure they had to be famous movie stars, because after all, this was California. Now, this glittery couple made eye contact with me and began to question me. Why was I there at Denny's alone so late at night? Why did I look so troubled? They insisted on buying me a glass of wine and made me come sit with them at their table. Now, I was shyer than Lady Di. but they were persistent, and I finally told them the decision I was wrestling with. They were both adamant that I should not worry about the job, but take the chance to travel. These two convinced me that the pros far outweighed the cons. In fact, they would not let me leave until I promised them I would go to New Zealand. That was 38 years ago, and looking back, I am sure those shiny strangers were angels sent to influence the course of my life. I came to New Zealand, met my future husband on a blind date, and have lived here most of my life, minus 2 amazing years in Montana. So my family has grown from 3 daughters to 6 grandchildren, and 1 more due on Christmas Day. Now, you might say, I don't have any proof that those were angels. But a lot of people don't know that some person's an angel at the time. It's only when they look back later that they become convinced that they had an encounter with angels. And my intuition tells me that those were angels, and I'm a person who listens to my intuition. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Maybe I should mount the camera on Manny's breastplate. That might be cool. Okay, we're out of the forest now. We're back on the dune trail. That's what we call this trail here. It's quite windy, blowing off the ocean there. I did make it to the ocean today because I wanted to come back the same way I went for my selfie stick, which fell out of the little bags. I never see it again to buy a new one. There's some people up ahead of us. I don't know if you can see them out in the distance. Manny doesn't want to go up there by them. Silly boy. Hey, Elsa. Okay. Homeward bound. Here we go. It's been a good ride. Really needed it. Really enjoyed that. And it didn't rain on us. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, everybody here who's come along from the ride with me. I'm glad you came. See you next time. Mercy's glad that you're home, Manny. He is. He missed you. He's your best friend, isn't he? Oh, you're in the godlight. And Zach, you're in the godlight. I'm going to get up there in the godlight. Yay! We're in the godlight together, Anzac.